Welcome to From Pitch to Pontoon.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Calum, and welcome to today's episode of From Pitch to Pontoon. How you doing today, AB?
I'm very well, thank you, CG. It's been a good week. We're missing our third member today.
We are. She messaged me, nah, not interested. Don't want to talk to you about today. We've obviously upset her.
No, she's very busy, bless her, very busy.
Well, you spent 2 days with her, so potentially maybe you have upset her, and that's why
I did.
to join us.
Yeah, no, we had a good couple of days away, just talking about our all things sales, ready for the new financial year in April. So yeah,
all shaping up nicely. Big plans.
It is all aligned.
So what were you guys discussing? What was on the agenda? What's the plan?
So discussing our targets, we were discussing our solutions, what we've got to help our lovely customers. So it was good. It was our marketing, you weren't invited.
I wasn't invited.
Marketing, account management, sales, product. We were all there. We went in Manchester. It was very, very good, productive couple of days.
Well, I'm glad you had a nice time without me.
Yeah, it was good. You're not bitter though, are you?
The thing is, I always take the hump that I'm not invited, but then I don't actually want to leave the house. So it's a vicious circle.
It is.
Not too sunny in Manchester, but we'll be in Manchester again. Well, I'll be coming to Manchester in May for the customer
day. Yeah, very exciting.
It is very exciting. We've got loads planned in now. We're just getting to the final stages of finalising what that day is going to look like.
Brilliant.
And then we can go for it. We're going to have a big old party for a big 10-year anniversary.
Lovely. Really, really looking forward to it.
Very, very exciting.
So I think, today, we need to talk about the rising fuel costs and how that's impacting the industries that we work within. And I think it'll be a good one for us to talk about and understand what's going on and how we can help if we can.
Absolutely. So I think obviously there is a situation going on in the world at the minute, which is having a massive impact on the price of fuel. We obviously need fuel to run all of the businesses that we serve. And even if it's not going to have a direct hit now, and how is that going to affect how they operate, how they run? Because we've seen it, I think, was it 2022 was the last time we had a bit of a fuel crisis?
I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
And obviously it does have a direct impact and an indirect impact. So where do we want to start? Do we want to start on the park side? Do we want to start on the marinas side?
Yeah, I think maybe park side, and then we can drift in. And I think we've said it before many a times on this podcast, but it's the two elements of it. Is the first one is how it impacts our customers' pocket. Yeah. That's the big thing. The people that are coming on the holiday park to spend money. Mm-hmm. So it's twofold. So when you get these rising costs, you've got an impact on their own energy bills, and you've got an impact on their journey going to the park. And then you've got an impact on the actual nightly price that they potentially are paying, because they all have to increase to align with the rising costs. So it's a really difficult position for holiday parks, and I've been there myself. And because you've got all of these multi-factors that are playing a really big part into, wow, all of a sudden this holiday that used to cost £350 for a couple of days or a week or whatever it may be is now nearly doubled because of those three important factors that are having a big impact on it.
No, I absolutely agree. I was that last fuel crisis that we had, I was on park for that still. And where it tends to hit first and fast is into touring bookings, I think, predominantly. Because of purely of the cost to fill a tank on a tourer, to come down. So what we might see potentially, as we did then, was the catchment area, I guess, for the park shrinking because
people didn't want to travel too far, of course.
No, I actually think when that happened, we were actually having people phone the park to find out if the petrol station next to it had fuel for them to get back.
Really?
Yeah, that was wild. Actually, I just remember that.
Yeah.
But that whole catchment area. So if you that park that I worked on, it used to weird me out a little bit because you'd have a load of Scottish people on the phone. Now, bear in mind, like south of England,
Yeah.
and these people would be from much further north than me. I'm talking like Inverness, and they were willing to travel down. So those travellers probably aren't going to be looking to travel as far. And I was saying, obviously, that catchment area is going to get a lot smaller. We might also see shorter trips, like you're saying, the price of the bookings are going to have to go up to accommodate the prices that are going to be passed on to the parks. You can see shorter, more localized travel, which was going to have to look at then moving into affecting your booking patterns. So if you're looking at same day last year and occupancy analysis of your
absolutely.
touring, I mean, touring's always a bit fickle because it's always weather dependent as well. So
Of course.
if you think last year wasn't a great summer for touring, so if you have that, if you compound that again with a fuel shortage or increased prices at the very least, that could knock out a summer if the conflict continues for too long.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right, and I think one of the biggest things as well is when we look at the owner's side of it is less frequency in visiting the parks as well,
Yeah.
and I think that has a big knock-on effect because that certainly when you look at parks where they have multiple events or things to do on the park, certainly with Easter coming up now, there may be owner events happening, there's bars, there's clubs, there's activities, there's swimming pools, and you're gearing up for what you think is going to be a normal weekend. But if people aren't coming as much because of fuel, it has an impact in that way as well, is your footfall that are coming into the park.
So is there any way or anywhere in tech that can support that? If we just say, I think Easter's probably the next big block that everyone's looking towards now, and I think that's a really good example. So we're looking at Easter just now. We're going to make an assumption that the price of fuel may either continue to rise or will not have fallen in time for the Easter break.
Yeah.
Where can the tech assist?
So I think, and we've said it many a times, is that in times like this, automation is key. We've got to keep our customers up to date with what's happening and what's going on. So I think that drive of automation, the drive of digital messaging, that element there will help the holiday parks communicate better and faster with their customer base, let them know what's happening. Even you said it before, even things like there's a fuel station down the road, or when you're on park, we can ensure you've got all of these things to do, so when you get here you don't need to be traveling out and about all of the time, and so it's just a case of getting to the park. So I think for me that's certainly the first element of where where they can help owners when they're owners and holidaymakers when they're actually on park.
Yeah. And I guess we're looking from like a data perspective. Also, we just said that there might be a more localized travel to the park as well. So evaluating I was going to call them states, what they called counties.
Counties,
your counties, and seeing which ones are closest and maybe looking at targeting them predominantly rather than expending money on marketing out with or on a further away catchment area. Now, the flip side of this, Andrew, is that we could be totally wrong. And actually, what we might see is what we saw post-COVID. Probably not in the same extremes, but actually where the UK holiday market has a boom because people don't want to go abroad. They can't afford to go abroad. Obviously, there's going to be fuel prices on airplanes. All that stuff's going to get pushed up as well. So we might see it the other way, where where actually parks are full.
No, and I think you're absolutely right, and I think it's something that we both discussed prior to this call that we wanted to mention, is that the messaging from me, from you, from us is to be ready, and the parks have to be ready. We've had an awful winter, but we're starting to see green shoots now. The weather's getting a little bit warmer, And, Easter could be one of your most successful times. It could increase the footfall, but you're right. Focus on that local area. Have a look at your catchment area. If people don't want to travel too far, if your catchment area was 3 hours or more, or wider than that, sort of bring it in a little bit and have a look at where you're bringing customers in, so that you can ensure that your occupancy rates remain high, that you are hitting both of those, really strong, I think.
Do you think over this, say, like the next 6 weeks, that things like taking the time to get an extra meter read in would help? Or am I just talking nonsense?
No, I think, for me, again, using my own experience, is that if you do, say, for example, you did 2 meter readings a year, that's naturally going to be a higher bill for the customer. So, if, for example, that you're locked into a contract and that contract is ending in a few months' time, then absolutely read the bills now, because that will help your customers reduce their bill. If your normal read is going to be July, and and that's when, and your contract's ending in June, well, your price is going to go up naturally. So read the meters now, save the customer a little bit of money. That will really help them. So I absolutely totally agree. I do think analyze your billing cycles, adapt a little bit, because one, it'll help your cash flow, the customer's cash flow, bring that cash flow in a little bit earlier, but just communicate, explain why you're doing it. You're doing it because you're the risk of pricing going up in the next couple of months. So that's why you want to do it now, to help a little bit.
I don't know, we've been using the example there of parks quite heavily, but actually it's going to be the exact same mirrored effect in the marina side. I'm sure fueling a boat is much more expensive than fueling a camper van.
Absolutely.
Can't afford a boat, as we know. So, but that sort of travel again. So you might actually have less if you're running like a dry stack facility or boat storage. You might find that actually there's less. What's the word? Launches.
Yes.
You'd have less launches out your dry stack, because people obviously can't afford to fuel the boat, and they're going to be doing that shorter trip perhaps. So it's using all those data points to go, right, these guys normally do it at this time. Shall we try and get ahead of that? Get them. I'm a big believer, once money's spent, it's spent. That's how I live my life. So if someone messaged me, oh, do you want to book this today? Usually book it next week. Yeah, I'll book it today. Just to try and get, I want to say a baseline, but just to keep your cash flow moving through.
I totally agree. And I think the biggest thing for me is don't, and obviously I know that everyone knows this, but we don't want to sleepwalk into it. We've got to act now and adapt to what's happening. And that is what makes our industry so resilient, is that we adapt quickly. Don't walk into July or August and go, oh God, it's still going on. Everything's shot through the roof. Food is more expensive. Travel's expensive. Everything gets more expensive. We've now got to put all our prices up. Act now, do something now, whether it be, meter readings, whether it be, communicating with your customers, whether it be looking at different catchment areas, all of these. So we're not saying one thing is right. All we're saying is look at it all and don't, act now. Don't leave it till last
We did
minute.
an offer actually around that last fuel thing, specifically for tourers, because we knew it was going to hit them hardest. It was called Fuel for Fuel. So we didn't take anything off their bill, but what they got was, I think it was £50 as a voucher for the restaurant.
Perfect.
To get it, fuel. So we're giving you get fuel for your fuel. Body fuel, food fuel.
Yeah, no, I get it. But it's that, I totally get it, but it's that sort of creative thinking that makes the difference. And that is what our message is today, to help, all of the parks and marinas out there, is just to think creatively. is to think creatively and look at all of your options and,
Yeah.
and act now and try and help your customers as best you can.
So what would you say if the parks or the marinas start, like, so obviously if the price of the holiday goes up, if it's cost them more to get there, the likelihood may be that they're going to spend less on site.
Mm-hmm.
How do operators respond to secondary spend dipping?
So I think, well, similar to what you were just talking about then is how can you relate to, so you did it there, you related that £50, for example, to then go and spend in the bar or restaurant. And I think that's the key. It's get them in there. What can you do now to make them, not make them, what can you do now to encourage yeah, don't make them, to encourage customers to spend or to stay with you? And I
Yeah.
think that's all about owner activities, activities for holidaymakers. What are you doing with regards to special offers in the restaurant, any activities going on in the pool, some things that you may not do till the summer, for example, because that's when you're busy and you may not do them this earlier in the year. Do it now. Bring it forward. Increase that footfall and keep the customers there once they're there. And I think that would be the key message for me is to adapt.
Yeah, I think I'm just thinking, obviously my background was in entertainment for a long time. If you were, and you would see flows who would introduce some entertainment for just opening, bringing some more after Easter, and then get ready for the summer. I think if you can put on a fuller program of entertainment in your venues, naturally you should see some ROI on that.
Of course,
hard to measure,
yeah.
but not with the right technology. Actually, because you should be able to see increases in your sales over the bar. Whilst the certain activities on.
Yeah,
There's something maybe all. I'm sure entertainers all over the world will hate me, but maybe they should be targeted per hour, per session on ROI behind the bars.
I don't know anything about that.
It's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
So you were a general manager. You've ran these sites. You've looked after the P&L of sites like these. If you were sitting today, would you be looking to absorb the cost out your margin, or would you be looking to pass it on to your customer?
I think that's it's a difficult one, and I don't think
You're going to give me a politician's answer here.
Yeah, I think I am, but I don't think it's one size fits all. I think it's dependent on the business, and you've got to look at everything as a whole. You've got small park and marina operators that would struggle to absorb the cost because their prices are low already, potentially. You've got big operators who may be okay to weather the storm slightly for a little bit longer. But I think it's a balancing act, and I think what is fair is to potentially do a bit of both. Try and absorb some, try and pass on some, but the key is to keep those occupancy levels high, keep the footfall high, and think of things to do that to bring them in. And like you said before, can you do a little bit of give and take? Can you, although the price has gone up slightly, but here's something that I can give you to go and spend on our premises in our
I'm just saying, like, if you are looking, so okay, we might need to put the base price of the bookings up, because obviously bookings or holiday home sales or boat sales or birth sales, whatever it is that you're looking after, they are probably your main revenue driver. So there's where you're really focused. Okay, we're going to put that booking up by X.
Yeah.
But over here, we've got a full activities team that, yes, they are here to generate revenue, but they're not our main focus. So we're going to take a little bit off of them.
Yeah.
It's robbing Peter to pay Paul, short term, isn't it? And then hopefully by the summer, everything's settled down and actually, okay, we can flip it. You guys need to start making what we gave away earlier on.
Well, I'm not sure I would put it quite like that, But it's
Is that not good
again,
business?
it's the, the key message for me is adapting, and you've got to your business. You've got to make sure you
Yeah.
are still making a profit for what you're doing, but you've got to adapt, because what you don't want to do is go, right, I'm going to pass absolutely everything on, but then absolutely have no footfall and no bookings, because that's a worse state to be in. So we've got to adapt, ensure that we can keep customer engagement and customer footfall high. And it's like we said before about the meter reading scenario, is that just have a look at your electric bill, just have a look at when your renewal date is, and go, actually, let me read the meters a little bit sooner. One, that's going to help your cash flow, and two, that's going to help the customer pay the rate they're currently paying rather than pay an increased rate in the future. If that happens, I'm not saying it's going to, but if it happens, then that's something they could do.
And I think we should just preface this whole conversation that obviously we are theorizing and probably having the same conversations that are either happening on site now, or if you're not having them, you probably need to start thinking about it at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And
throwing those
I think
ideas
it's just to follow on from that, these are our opinions. These are, because we have both worked on parks before. I think we're just trying to sort of offer that little bit of guidance and things that we used to think about when we were on a park. So it certainly isn't, this is what you should be doing. These are just various ways that we can think and help, utilizing technology, data, the analysis side of things. If you use all of those things that are available to you, it will help you in these coming months.
Exactly. Perfect. I think we'll leave it there before we cause any problems.
Yeah.
I took those advice from those people on that podcast.
Yeah. It's just our opinion. We're just trying to help. And
just our thoughts.
It is. And the key message is look at the data, adapt, have a look at what's happening, and see how you can help yourselves and your customers at the same time.
And if we can help you in any way with technology to support that, give us a call.
And that as well, yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.